Hello and welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sorry.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin, history, music, and culture.
While drinking a few brews.
Though we don't often use strong language, the jokes and the content is not intended for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Before we begin the episode, we have to give a huge shout out to the Dangits from Madison, Wisconsin, for providing us with great bluegrass intro you hear at the beginning of every episode. The song Razzle was written by Jamie Lampkins, but is performed on behalf of Tom Wasselchuk and the Dangits. If you have a chance, check these guys out at dang-its.com for upcoming shows, music, or on how to book them for weddings, parties, and etc. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric.
And I'm Russ.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Get in there and interact on some of our posts. I know we don't post a whole bunch, but get in there. When we do, leave a bunch of comments. Let us know what you think. So today we will be discussing our state flag and explaining the meaning behind some of the symbols and icons that are seen on it. We also have some more proper city pronunciations and their origins. We have more great music from Life in a Tree. Another How Many Local You At? A Wisconsin beverage review. And an interview with Zymurgy.
Great. So we have all seen the unique Wisconsin state flag, and I'm sure you wondered why it looks so much different than the other simple state flags. In the past few years, there has actually been talks of changing the state flag to a more simplified version like Colorado and Arizona's. I personally hope that they don't, because there is a lot of imagery on that flag and a lot of deep meanings that actually tell us the history of our state's past. And so I'm going to break down kind of part by part the flag, what each little symbol means, and I have to give a massive shout out to the Wisconsin Project from WPR.
Huge shout out.
Yeah, they actually were the ones who broke this down. They had an expert on the show, and I didn't copyright it, I didn't copy everything over, but I actually reworded everything to kind of explain it in our own words, just to give you kind of the heads up. You can learn a little bit about the flag, a little bit about the history, why there's things on there that are on there. So here's a little history of the flag and the blue background. The Wisconsin state flag was adopted in 1913, and that year is important because that was the 50th anniversary of the Civil War. And there are a whole bunch of other states that adopted a state flag during this era, right before World War I, actually. So the blue background. This represents the traits like wisdom, truth, trust, but in 1913, what was really important, blue represents loyalty. If you look at the other state flags that have the blue field, these are the states of the old Union during the Civil War. The old Yanks, if you will.
The old Yanks.
A minor...
Give it the old Yank.
The old Yankee. What's your favorite little rascal?
Alfalfa or Spanky? So that was Spanky, not Yankee, by the way. He did say what...
Oh, no, what's your favorite?
This is Chris Farley.
Oh, my God, I messed it up so bad. What's your favorite baseball team or something? The Yankees?
Yeah, who's your favorite baseball? That's Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, for anybody listening right now who stayed tuned in, that was a reference back to the Tommy Boy movie with Chris Farley and David Spade. There is a scene at a hotel where Chris Farley talks about David Spade's favorite baseball team is the Yankees.
He catches David Speed spanking in the hotel room.
He ended up catching David Spade in a very compromised position and says, "What's your favorite baseball team? Is it the Yankees? Who's your favorite little rascal? Is it Alfalfa or Spanky?"
Exactly.
Good. All right, back to the flag.
Moving on.
Back to the flag.
So the next symbology is a miner, a sailor, and the badger. And at the very top of the state motto, forward, that was adopted by state legislature in 1851, just 3 years after the statehood, in fact. Beneath the motto is a relatively small badger, the mammal, not Bucky Badger. The miner is a reflection of the early Wisconsin history, lead and zinc mining in the Driftless area. Also the copper mining in northern Wisconsin that was happening, the iron mining. But it's really about work. It's a tribute to Wisconsin's workers and not necessarily just the miner. We want to promote manufacturing in our state. And we really do. I mean, look at all the great companies. I mean, you can name them. Briggs, Generac, Mercury, Case International. I mean, we have
Pauling and
hundreds.
Harnish figure. Yeah, huge stuff.
And the sailor obviously makes perfect sense, especially since when you consider that the 19th century, more than 1,000 miles of Wisconsin coastline on Lake Michigan and Superior, and the importance of commerce. And we had an episode about piracy. I mean, it was such a big commerce that there were actually pirates.
Yeah.
On the lake.
On Lake Michigan.
So the next is the Golden Seal of Trades. Between the miner and the sailor is a golden seal that has symbols of the 4 different trades: navigation, manufacturing, like we talked about, the arm and hammer. There is the mining, which is a pickaxe and a shovel, and agriculture, which is the plow.
Look at all that agriculture.
And then the middle of the shield is a small red, white, and blue coat of arms. And surrounding the coat of arms is the national motto, E pluribus unum, one of the many, and recognition of our role in the larger nation. So we're just one of many states kind of thing. So,
and you could see that on some of the currency in the United States, the penny for sure. E pluribus unum is something that we use basically widely in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, we're going to go over the next one, which is the lead and the horn of plenty, or the cornucopia, if you will. And directly beneath the miner is a pyramid stack of 13 lead ingots. This is a little bit of the mining history, a little bit of economic boosterism and the state mineral resources. But 13 is important because it represents the 13 original colonies. The cornucopia is a central look at Wisconsin's agriculture. Overflowing out of the cornucopia, you have grapes, apples, and what looks like oranges. Now, they're not oranges. So we don't actually have oranges in the state. So maybe they're trying to get at like a nectarine or something, which grow pretty prevalent here. I don't know. Yeah, and it was kind of one thing that they kind of like maybe need to be cropped out. Let's be honest. But we do have grapes.
They should replace that with beer.
Actually, that'd be great.
A can of Miller Lite.
Like, have you ever seen Charlie Barron's has a rendition of the state flag that says "Keep Her Moving" on it, and it has the miner and the sailor with a beer in their hand. I think we need to modify this thing.
Yeah, I think an adaptation with some beer and some love for cranberries or something like that would be necessary.
But this is a breakdown of like the main things you're going to see in our state flag. It's kind of wild. It's, if you look at in an encyclopedia or even on Wikipedia at all the state flags, Wisconsin's really does stand out. It's like your old school coat of arms that you'd see in like Europe. Actually,
I think what's nice about it is it really does it pays homage to and makes notice of, I mean, why we're a state, how we began, its earliest functions of a state. It definitely is a really nice symbolic feature for the state of Wisconsin. I mean, as much as I love the California state flag with the bear and the Colorado state flag, as you mentioned before, with the sea and some mountains, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but those can be used more as city flags. As you know, Milwaukee has a brand new city flag that is absolutely phenomenal. The Brewers have taken notice of that and used it on many of their different hats and uniforms, as well as like Chicago. I think there's 4 stars, 2 red lines, top and bottom. The stars are like this light blue color and they go horizontally across. And a lot of these cities have done really cool flags using some neat color schemes and stuff that are symbolic of the city. But this state flag, I think, needs to be left untouched, like you said.
I love it. It's kind of wild, but at the same time, it's just our state history.
Yeah.
We especially the mining, which played such a big part. We lost countless number of lives lead mining or copper mining or iron mining up north, especially, even like I'm lucky enough to have family that were actually from, Scandinavia that actually moved up north because they're giving away free land. So a lot of my relatives actually died in the mines, and it's just kind of pays homage to our state in general.
Yeah. I don't have any ancestry or lineage that has perished or anything in the state of Wisconsin. It's funny because I'm like the second generation of my family that has been in Wisconsin. The first was my parents. I mean, yeah. My dad was born in Indiana, and my mom in Illinois. so it's just one of those things that like I feel super blessed to have migrated to an area of the country that is just so beautiful and also just has so much rich culture and history. I love it.
Yeah, and like my dad's family, you know, they're kind of no names. I mean, they came from Finland because like the Soviet grip and they wanted to get out of there before things kind of hit the fan. So they moved here, you know, but then I got my mom's family, which are like, you know, the royalty. They probably never got their hands dirty in their life. You know, the JP Morgan family branch. Yeah, the Morgan branch. So it's kind of a weird mix, you know, coming from two different backgrounds, you know, and I'd love to make a name for the Saris because we don't really have much of a name. And you're not going to see my last name throughout the country unless you go up north. It's the only place, you know.
Ardo.
Yeah. He's a skater, but he's actually from Finland, though, too. So
remember, he busted his head in that one video.
Yeah, what was it? Flip Sorry.
Flip Sorry.
Yeah.
For those of you that aren't maybe necessarily into skateboarding, Ardo Sorry, ARTO, Ardo, is of Russ's lineage.
Yep.
And he's a professional skateboarder for he skated for ES, he skated for Flip, and then some other brands too. But he did this massive stair. Ollied down. I mean, what would you guess? 30 stairs?
Yeah, it was something
40
like
stair.
that. It was insane.
He ollied down at least like a 40 stair, and he busted his head open because he didn't land it. It left him in a coma. He was unconscious right on the scene. I mean, it was bad. He was bleeding out pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
He lived, but pretty nuts.
But yeah, that's going to conclude the flag segment. But actually in our main story, like our last origins of pronunciation, we're going to go through some names of some cities that are kind of hard to pronounce. They always have these segments on like Brewers games, Badgers games, Bucks games, where they have players that aren't from our state try to pronounce these difficult names. So we're going to help you out.
Some of these players aren't even from this country. Ersan Ilyasova, he's from Turkey. Giannis is from Greece.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these players that have tried to pronounce some of these Native American names from our state aren't even from this country. So, I mean,
right.
It is beyond their scope of language, first of all.
And yeah, I mean, they're kind of translated by what they heard. So it's kind of like bastardized. That's why a lot of these are going to be a little different than the Indian language.
And and as we recognized on the last pronunciations and origins episode, some of us are pronouncing the hell out of these,
yeah, for sure.
Improperly. So it's we're butchering the hell out of them too. Even our weathermen are.
So the first one we're going to go over is Mequon, a Ojibwe word that was actually Miquon as a meaning for a ladle. This particular name was decided upon due to the way each river in the area bended in the shape of a ladle. Other speculation of the word's meaning has also been feather or pigeon, but have been disputed by historians.
Sure.
But yeah, Mequon.
That makes sense.
Yep. The next one we're going to do, a personal favorite to both of us up north, Minocqua.
Yeah, I had my first trip to Minocqua actually this year, and my second trip was just very recently, and I love the area. We had a chance to visit the Minocqua Popcorn Company. The Minocqua Brewing Company was shut down at the moment, but we bought some T-shirts and stuff in their support. And also the Kilwins, the fudge and saltwater taffy place. Awesome little town. I love it.
Yeah, the one thing I love about Minocqua is, so I don't know if I've ever been to the Minocqua Brewing Company, but they've been in a little bit of a heat lately with over some signage that they posted out based on their political view.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I respect it completely. It's your own personal choice. It's whatever you choose. Well, accept it. Move on.
And that's and I know that it's been hotly debated as to why, but there is a governing body that says the certain square footage that a sign can be that covers a public building or whatever, something like that. So they are in violation of that, but at the same point in time, I think that hey, you're a landowner, you can do what you want. Right. I don't think that governing bodies need to get involved in a fucking sign.
Right, so side
and I don't
story.
get heated on any of this stuff, and I'm certainly never going to tell you my political affiliation.
Yeah,
but
right.
A sign is a sign. Do not deface it. It is there because it's it's your land and you can do whatever you want. You can put whatever sign you want in your yard.
Yeah.
So
I want to tell you a funny story before we move on here. So based on signs and stickers and stuff. So as you all know, I went to UW. So you have to have a parking sticker when you live in Madison. So I was going to visit my girlfriend at the time who lived in Heartland, which I didn't realize they had a sticker law. So the parking pass for Madison is kind of a bigger sticker, but yeah, it goes on the back corner of your car so they don't give you a ticket. So I was driving through Heartland, and a cop pulls me over. He's like, you know why I'm pulling you over? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm literally going the
probably
speed limit.
because I look really cute.
Yeah, and so he's like, stickers can't be over this big. And he was going to give me a ticket for it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to have this sticker to go to school.
Yeah, my educational facility says I have to have this in my window.
And I just could not believe that. Like, it's just complete BS, honestly, to tell you the truth. And I'm sure he's just looking for a way to get an easy ticket.
And quickly, too, while we're on this, as far as, yard signs and stuff go, recently, I would say, this was probably, 2016, you say? There was a politician by the name of Russ Feingold. He had some really unique signs that were dark blue. Russ is actually wearing a sweatshirt of this because it's his name. And this was neat back in 2016. The political sign was just dark blue with the white lettering Russ and the state of Wisconsin outline, or whatever you say. And he really wanted one of these, and I happened to know where I could get my hands on a sizable sign of this, and I definitely did take advantage of that. I did not deface the sign. I merely got the sign. I took ownership of the sign.
You commandeered.
I commandeered the sign. I was a pirate, if you will. And as far as I know, Russ, you still have this sign. Yeah.
It's actually in my chicken coop.
In your chicken coop.
My chicken coop, yep. So let's go over. So Minocqua, we're going back to it.
So just for everybody.
Sorry.
For everybody, we're gonna go back to the origins and pronunciations.
So Minocqua is originally Ninaqua, meaning noonday rest by the Ojibwe. Minocqua is probably the most suitable name for the northern summer retreat town. I'm sure most of us wouldn't mind spending our own noonday rest here. It's a great area.
It's beautiful.
I'm not much of a fan of the touristy areas. I always go up on off seasons when there's not a lot more people there. I just kind of like to go and look around. I like the outdoors more than I like the touristy things.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
And honestly, this is much less the tourist area than, let's say, the Dells or Sister Bay, anything up in Door County. This is definitely less of that, but also it is frequented by our armpit of the south there, our neighbors, fibs. But it's a beautiful area either way. So the chain of lakes in Minocqua is absolutely fantastic. The colors changing of the leaves, the whole drive up there is absolutely phenomenal. And then there are some absolute gems in that area. We visited a couple of different supper clubs while we were there. Just phenomenal. I love the back roads.
I mean, one cool thing, we weren't really going to stop here. Kind of saw it. We're like, oh, it looks kind of cool. So there's a place up there called the Christmas Chalet. It's like Christmas all year round when you go in this store.
Really?
It's very cool, and I recommend it to everyone who goes up there.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's great, and the guy who owns the shop actually kind of looks like Santa Claus a little bit. He has like a white beard and glasses. And
so he's a fat white guy with a white beard.
Exactly.
Not to say anything poorly about this man. I don't know him, but
no, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like if you're just looking to like get a little hint of Christmas outside of the Christmas season, it's really cool.
And Russ and I are actually from a town called Elkhorn, where both of our families ended up taking. I guess, building our whole brand in that area, and taking property ownership. But the town is, Elkhorn is known as what? The Christmas card town?
The Christmas card town, yep.
Yeah. So if you go up to the old town square, which is now no longer the courthouse, it's just a police department.
Yep.
But up in the town square there, across from Moy's restaurant, shout out Moy's. Greatest Chinese food there is.
It's very good.
But they have these, huge displays that they put out for the Christmas season.
Yep. And so the next one we have on our list is one that's really hard to pronounce, and actually we featured them, a local brewery from this area is Oconomowoc. Tough one.
What was that again?
Oconomowoc.
Oconomowoc.
Okay. The town has...
I'm just kidding. Oconomowoc.
Everyone kind of teases their non-local friends, but it actually comes from the word Kunomowok. It was a Ho-Chunk word that inspired Oconomowoc's name, which means waterfall or river of lakes, an accurate name if you were to have visited the beautiful region. Yeah,
and there's, what seems to be a dozen beautiful lakes in that area.
Oh,
However, one of them is Lake Lac La Belle.
Yeah, actually, there's a haunted cemetery over there. If you're into creepy shit.
That's where I was born. Just kidding. A creepy cemetery.
Yeah.
No, but Lake Lac La Belle, there's a couple of different areas out there, restaurants, bars, and stuff that do some really unique stuff. We will feature some of them on this show.
Oh, for sure.
We just recently had discovered a book that was written about different breweries and different bars, historic bars and stuff. So Russ and I are going to put together a series that is going to be seasons long, years long, that we will individually pinpoint specific bars and breweries and stuff that are historic to the state.
The next one on our list is Kenosha, and it's not a super hard one. This one doesn't get messed up as much, but it's debated over whether it's Menominee or Potawatomi origin. But they have agreed that Kenosha is the translation of Ken Nu Si, which properly means a place of the pike or pikefish, which
nice.
Is kind of neat. So yeah.
Well, we do have a good amount of northern pike.
Yep.
In a lot of our lakes throughout the state, so this makes sense.
All right, the next one we have is Neenah.
What was that?
Neenah.
What? All right, cool. Neenah.
Ho-Chunk used this word for water or running water. The name was decided upon when the Governor Doty met with the band of the tribe. He pointed to a river, and the Ho-Chunk responded with Neenah.
Yeah,
that's actually how they found the name.
And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Neenah is home to a couple of notable businesses, right?
I believe so, yes. I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head.
So if you walk around throughout downtown of a lot of different cities, Neenah can be located on, I think, different sewer caps because of the Neenah Foundry Company. The Neenah Foundry Company definitely makes a bunch of these different like sewer caps or caps on sidewalks and stuff for different sewer systems or underwater like water systems and stuff. A bunch of different other places as well. I think Kimberly-Clark has some stuff in the Neenah area, but you would definitely have seen the name of the city, Neenah, in many different areas.
This next one's highly debated. It's a crazy one, and actually, I found some information that we are pronouncing it incorrect.
Nah.
Okay, so if you hear it on the news, it's pronounced as Milwaukee.
Yeah.
If you want to know the truth, we pronounce it in the state as Milwaukee, but actually, if you want to know from a historian's perspective, it's actually only two syllables. It's moi-ki.
Okay,
moi
so like
ki.
moi, like I'm kissing you.
Yes, moi-ki.
And then ki.
And that's the true pronunciation of the word. But, I mean, if you heard it on the news, it's Milwaukee.
Yeah. And then also Wayne's World. That was a movie that highly featured the city of Milwaukee. And it was, Alice Cooper who said that this was Milwaukee or Milwaukee. Is that what he said?
Something like that, yes.
For the good land.
Yep. It actually means, rich or beautiful land by the Potawatomi tribe. Actually.
Got it. Okay. See, he didn't say it was the Potawatomi tribe. He said it was the, it was a city in Illinois. Keep going.
So, if you don't know, Milwaukee is heavily influenced by the Potawatomi tribe. Obviously, the Potawatomi Casino, but originally that's kind of their land. And the original native pronunciation was derived from Maniwaki, according to the Milwaukee Sentinel on August 22nd of 1881. But so if you want to know the truth, we're actually not pronouncing it right. Like if you hear it on the news, it's Milwaukee. If you hear it from somebody in the state, it might be Milwaukee. If you hear it, the true pronunciation is Milwaukee.
Wow.
So it's just kind of a nuts one.
That's incredible. That is, I mean, the fact that it's only supposed to be the two syllables is crazy. So
yeah, actually,
Algonquin.
Yeah, so he originally thought it was Algonquin,
The Algonquin tribe.
Which wouldn't make sense because if you know Milwaukee history, Potawatomi was probably the main tribe settled in the area.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Potawatomi casinos, so they can actually host casinos and other
that's
dealings
the thing,
to help fund their
if you
tribe.
think about for I guess taxable reasons and stuff.
Yes.
And, different tribes have different areas, and so the Potawatomi tribe, right here in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
I'm going to start saying that properly, I guess, now. But yeah, so Milwaukee, Milwaukee.
Depends on who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, and how bad your English is and how bad your pronunciations are. All of those different, I guess, pronunciations could always land us in the right area, but the way that it's supposed to be pronounced is Milwaukee.
Exactly.
Got it.
And that's going to conclude our second part of origins and pronunciation.
Awesome. All right, so today's music segment is Life in a Tree, and the song is Fake Reality. Now, this group is an alt-pop group originally located in Milwaukee. That's their roots. That's where they're from. And they have since located to Nashville, and they work out there. Obviously, that's like the music capital of the world right now. So they definitely spread their time or split their time between Milwaukee and Nashville. I wish I could do the same damn thing. And this music is great. The vocals on this are pristine, clean. These things are phenomenal. It's like they're professionals.
Yeah, and obviously we like we said, we kind of put some feelers out. We're trying to get more eclectic music, not just our standard go-tos. So it's great to have a new genre to feature on our show.
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin has such phenomenal music and artists and bands, and this is just another showcase of exactly that. I mean, we're not just bluegrass country kind of folk. I mean, this is huge. This group, Life in a Tree, is just absolutely phenomenal, and I mean their music is great. So again, as always, go check them out. They're on YouTube, they're on Spotify. They just have phenomenal music. So this is their song "Fake Reality."
Deny. Right. and crank the lever. We only got a moment in the now and never. Distract me in this fake reality. Forget our plans for now, I can't breathe. Every night is like a record playing on repeat. And now we're stuck in fake reality.
All right. That again was Life in a Tree, Fake Reality. Absolutely phenomenal music. Super, super well defined. Really well produced. Go check them out again. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. Today we have a Wisconsin beer review that is from Sprecher.
Yeah, so Sprecher, this is called their 414 beer. It is a Milwaukee Pils Bohemian style lager coming in at 5% ABV. And I don't know if anyone's ever been to Sprecher. I know, like, me and Rachel. Oh my goodness.
These babies are carved.
This is another one where you kind of had in the fridge a long time. So there's a little bit of yeast activity in the
There's
can.
a carved can right here.
Ooh, doggy.
I'm a little bit wet.
I am a little foamy, but it's really well crafted. You're getting that initial like lager style come through right away. It's pretty good. It's a fire brewed beer, which is really nice.
It's unique for sure.
It's unique, yeah. It's a very good flavor. So a funny story about Sprecher. So Sprecher is actually located in Glendale, their main facility, and it's a really cool place. They actually make a lot of the sodas there, pretty much all their beers. They have a really good tour. So me and Rachel went to yoga there one time, and we were kind of doing it on a regular basis. One of our kind of staples to go to, and you get done with yoga and you have a couple brewskis, right?
Oh, gotta. That's what I do after. I always do yoga.
I'm not saying Rachel's last name, but Rachel. So we got done. So you get a couple beers. So we had a couple brewskis, but there was a whole bunch of new beers out, right? And Rachel kind of took it in her own wing and went behind the bar and got some more of them.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
she wanted to try them all.
Bartender, right?
So we couldn't actually. There was no bartender there at the time, and we couldn't get a sampler, which is originally what we wanted to try a few of the new beers that came out, because a lot of their beers are very good. They have a lot of experimentals. They kind of stay with the times. Their beer's really good. Obviously, their soda is staple.
That's the thing is I've had only one or maybe two beers, and their soda is what I mostly kind of associate them with. It's like their root beer for sure.
Yeah, and they also have the, I think it's called the Bavarian Black Lager, which is more of like your German-style beer, and it's really good. It's a very, very dark beer, but it's really good. It's very well crafted. I mean, you can tell like these guys put a lot into their beer, and I highly recommend anyone going and checking them out. I believe they started in 1985, which, for me, I was born in 86, so they were actually around a year before I was born making brewskis. So.
I mean, and this is an absolutely delicious beer. Definitely a little darker. What would you say? What's the terminology I'm looking for?
Yeah, so it's a Pilsner's, but you can tell it's more like better crafted. It's not like, I don't think they're adding corn to it because you're getting more of the malt flavor coming through, unlike your standard Pilsner you buy.
Yeah.
So when you buy like a cheaper beer, you're gonna have like a little corn flavor, and this one definitely doesn't. It's actually like your standard Pilsner. And I don't know if a little history about Pilsner is actually started in the Czech Republic. The Pilsners were.
Oh well, you look at that?
Yeah, so that's where Pilsner started, and actually, I think there is a town actually called Pilsner in the old Czechoslovakia. So just a little information about Pilsners.
Why don't you go check that out?
Oh, man, that was great.
I am absolutely covered in beer.
Yeah.
You know what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to take a picture of what we look like post cracking this 414.
So a lot of times we don't get to the beer right away. So they have
Right.
like a little yeast activity in the can. So we get a little bit of carbonation because we buy like 6-packs and we're always like, oh, we got to try this. We got to try this. So we load up our fridge.
Right.
But then it sits for so long because we only really do one beer per episode. So literally we top gun to this episode too. Like I'm actually going to take my shirt off right now and play some volleyball in Eric's backyard. After
I'm
drinking
gonna
this beer.
I'm just gonna take my shirt off, hang
All right.
out the rest of the day. But I mean, honestly, this is again one of those beers that just check it out, and anything Sprecher, check it out.
Yeah, and if you're somebody that drinks that domestic beer, it's a great way to branch out because it's
the-
a Pilsner,
and
but
the
it's
fact
not
that
like
this is a fire brewed. How many of you can say that you've had a fire brewed beer? Probably none of you.
Right.
I mean, unless you've drank, this or some other Sprecher stuff. The soda, I think, is all basically following that same principle of fire brewed. But it's one of those ones that it's just it's a unique flavor. You have to check it out if you're a beer fan. All right, we have another edition of How Many Locos You Got?
woo.
Yeah, this one gets pretty serious here.
That's it.
So this one is about an Indiana man. Now I know right off the bat you guys are thinking, Indiana, you can't do that. No, I'll explain why. Actually, the article will explain why. So an Indiana man whose truck was seen weaving around Interstate 90, 94, and 39 near DeForest, that's up near Madison,
Yep.
early Sunday was charged Tuesday with his 12th
Oh,
drunk
my.
driving.
A dirty dozen.
He did it. The individual is 55. He is from Crown Point, Indiana. He told Wisconsin State Patrol that he was traveling from Minnesota to Indiana. And hey, how many of us have traveled from, anywhere to Minnesota and back?
Right.
We've probably had a couple beers, a couple road sodas, or we've already been under the influence a little bit ourselves. So he said, I had a couple of beers. Ooh, that's code for I'm probably going to jail. Just before driving. So he had a couple beers just before driving. According to a criminal complaint filed by the Dane County Circuit Court, two of the state troopers patrolling together stopped this individual. The complaint states, after seeing his pickup truck weave in the far right lane of the interstate across the fog line, that's the white line, and then go into the center left lane, the individual's speech was also slurred. The complaint states that he smelled of alcohol as well. The troopers found a bottle of whiskey. That's not beer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they found a half-consumed beer.
Oof.
Okay.
All right.
And they found some marijuana.
Nice. He had the trifecta.
We hit it.
Oh my
He hit hard booze, beer, and
pot. All right.
The old wacky
Tobacco.
the old
Devil's
lettuce. You got it. So a search warrant was issued for a sample of the individual's blood, but the result of the test was not stated in this complaint, so we can only go off of what we see here. Of course, we never like to imagine what they're at blood alcohol-wise. So the Dane County Court Commissioner said during the court appearance Tuesday that the drunken driving statistics from the State Department of Transportation indicate that as of December 31st, 2015, only 17 people out of more than 5 million in Wisconsin had 12 drunk driving convictions. Again, only 17 people of more than 5 million had 12 drunk driving convictions. So the odds of someone being in this person's position were slightly higher than capturing unicorn tears in a jar, is what the guy said.
That's insanity.
So the bail was set at about $5,000. Added that it was fortunate that nobody died. Obviously.
Oh, for sure.
And that goes without saying with all of these. It's fortunate that nobody else is harmed or injured. No great bodily harm. No sort of vehicular manslaughter. We're all just lucky that didn't happen in this case. It's extremely concerning behavior. Getting 12 is, that's taking zero accountability for your actions and learning literally nothing from all of the punishment that you've already faced.
Yeah,
12, Russ, 12.
I know. So the hard
You've
part.
been fined 11 other times. You have been in jail at least 10 other times.
It's crazy. And like the hard part about this one is because you got to convert hard liquor, beer, and pot into a loc.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
how
hard
do you
part.
do that?
Yeah,
how do you do that?
It's so complicated.
I mean, we're put in a rough situation here too. This guy really made it hard on us.
I really think, if I had to guess, so you got the pot, you got the hard liquor, you got the beer. Can
we separate these though? Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do
this. So let's say that he started with beer and hard liquor.
Okay.
And then
so you got the spins going on?
Oh yeah, he's drunk.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden he was like, okay, Four Loko is a good idea. I'm going to have some of these. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the old devil's cabbage, devil's lettuce is a great idea, right?
You go into the fourth dimension.
You're in another world at that point. So where in this equation, he's already had some beer, some booze. He decides to tamper with the old Four Lok. And then he goes to the drugs.
Lechuga de Diablo, as they say.
I don't speak Japanese. So I'm willing to guess that he's maybe only in it a small amount. I would imagine he's had one can of Four Loko before the bad decision comes in.
Yeah, because they said a half can, so maybe he was just sipping on it. He's like, I'm going to go to some hard liquor. Yeah, and the translation for loco, I don't know, though. It might be more.
I mean,
I don't know. This is a really tough one.
So we're split on this. This is the first one, everybody, that we're split on.
Yeah.
Normally, Russ and I are pretty in the same ballpark, but pretty much in the same ballpark. At this one, I think I'm saying he's at a Four Loko.
Is this another unknown loco?
This could be another unknown loco.
Because I actually don't know. I literally think if this guy, he's had 12 priors, so he's a veteran of drinking, and he's still on the road.
And I'll tell you right now, also by the picture, he's a veteran of drinking.
He's
got all
the signs and symptoms. Okay.
Yeah, he's got the skin tone of a idiot drinker.
Okay, so yeah, I actually don't know. I was thinking a lot higher than Four Loko. I was almost going to the 6 can method. So like this might be an unknown local for us.
Well, and to be honest, I'm only thinking of so like I said, I was thinking of separating this. If we don't separate it, if we think that all of this is just loco, I'm with you.
A 24.
He's at a 24.
Yeah.
Easy. But if we're taking this all as separate things, like he decided to, almost like gateway. He had some beer. Well, what's a gateway? What is beer a gateway of? Well, hard liquor.
It's not working fast enough. Go to the hard.
Once you get past hard liquor, what's the gateway to the next thing? And so that's Four Lok.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean this one's a tough one for us. I think I'm gonna have to go unknown local because we probably can't come to an agreement on this one. I think it's gonna be an unknown local.
This is an official unknown Lok.
Oof.
Rough.
All right, so I'm here with John, the brewer from Zymurgy. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of Zymurgy and how you guys got started?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. On December 1st will be our 2-year anniversary. So I have owned this building, which is an old auto shop, since late 2017. So it took a little over a year to build it up to the point where we could have a tap room and the area where we make the beer and all that. So I've been brewing for almost 15 years professionally. I'm from Milwaukee area, so I was brewing at Water Street for a while back in the day, and kind of been bouncing around for a little bit. So my goal was always to own my own place. So finally, about December 1st, last year we basically got a start. So a lot of my influences are Belgian beers, German beers, some English beers as well. It's kind of rare. We don't have an IPA on tap. I do like hoppy beers. We have an American Pale Ale, and we're going to do a Saison IPA pretty soon. But and then we also have a lot of heavy hitters around here. I do have quite a few barrels, filled up wine barrels and bourbon barrels for some bigger beers as well. So.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I saw you guys were doing an Oktoberfest, and that's like one of my all-time faves. I love this time of year.
Yeah, it's definitely the holidays for brewers. We had a big party last year. We kind of toned it down this year, but we celebrated just a couple days ago, this last Saturday. So it's pretty fun. I like making it every year. I do. We have a 7-barrel system here, so that'd be like 14 half barrels. I only did about. We have a small pilot system here as well, so I only did 20 gallons this year, but I think next year we're probably going to make a full batch of it and we'll probably get it in some bars and celebrate for many weekends in a row. That's kind of the
Cool.
goal, but obviously parties have been kind of toned down this year, so.
Yeah, it's definitely been a weird year for everyone, to tell you the truth. So
Yeah, yep.
I was going to ask you, like, what beers you guys currently have on tap, and is there any recommendations you would make to the listeners?
Yeah, so right now we still some of my favorites, I guess. We still have barrel-aged Thorzul on tap, a 10.5% barrel-aged stout. That's from last year. That'll be on for just a couple more weeks, and then 2020 Thorzul will go on tap. Excuse me. One of the more popular beers that's kind of interesting is Afternoon Joe. Afternoon Joe is basically like a light-colored blonde ale with coffee. So it's a light-colored coffee beer, and we do that on CO2 and nitro. So I'm a big fan of like light-colored beers on nitro as well. And then being kind of like a traditionalist with brewing and stuff like that, there's another local brewery in town called Nodic, and we've been doing multiple collaborations. So our 4th collaboration was a Pilsner, like a straight-up, nice, easy-drinking German Pilsner. And we kind of decided to make that a permanent collaboration. So we're going to make that again because it's been selling pretty good. So those are kind of my favorites right now. And then Cranberry Lace is coming up. We have some friends that work at the Bogs south of here. So we're going to get about 120, 130 pounds of cranberries and make our Cranberry Lace coming up here. So that'll be on soon too.
There's nothing more Wisconsin than cranberries. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I know with COVID things have been weird. Do you guys currently have any events coming up?
So we used to, before all this happened, we have a stage here. We have our own sound equipment. So we were playing. We were having lots of music, like almost every week or two. We were also doing comedy, first Wednesdays of the month. So we were constantly having like little get-togethers with music and comedy and stuff like that. This year, basically right after St. Patrick's Day, which is still weird to me that all this happened on St. Patrick's Day. Can't make that up. We haven't done any comedy, and we've done some music, but it's always just like one individual, like just playing a singer-songwriter style, not like full bands. We were also getting into death metal quite a bit. Not every place will let death metal bands play.
You talk. You're totally talking my language. I love all kinds of metal. I'm pretty eclectic, but I've always got into like the Norwegian death metal and stuff like that. So I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've been getting into that quite a lot lately. Shout out to Casket Robbery, which is a good death metal band in Madison area. But lately this year we've toned it all down so much. We had Oktoberfest. It was probably the busiest it's been here. We actually had the call capacity at the door. And otherwise, everything's been like little customer appreciation parties or just kind of nothing lately, which is kind of a bummer. But it is the way it is, kind of.
Yeah, that's just kind of like the new norm, unfortunately.
Yeah. And our efforts for this winter, because we do have a patio. We built a patio. We have heaters out there, so I know a lot of breweries have been concentrating on that. We're going to concentrate more on packaged goods. Just because we know taproom sales are going to kind of probably be a little low, so we have some new stuff coming out in the future that'll be in nice bottles with wax dipped, and then we might actually try to get some of our flagships into the stores as well, because and a lot of breweries have to be kind of creative on how to stay afloat,
Yeah. And that's just it too. Like if you don't have like a canning operation, it's pretty tough to get your beer out there right now. I mean, even the local places, like it seems like you have to bring a growler in and pretty much bail, like right after you're done,
Yeah. We're lucky enough to be. We just sell crowlers here, like the 25-ounce ones. So we sell those here, and then we're actually in the Menominee Co-op, which is amazing. It's a newer building. It's beautiful. And then also the Co-op in Eau Claire, which is about 25 minutes from here. So it's kind of a good little start. Before all this happened, we were in about over 20 bars outside of here. So that's gone way down to less than 10 bars. So besides serving our beer here up in the Chippewa Valley, we have our beer at a few different places.
Awesome. All right, well, before we let you go, we always ask our guest a few questions to find out how Wisconsin you are, and I'll start with question one.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever eaten a squeaky cheese curd?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's pretty regular, honestly, for Wisconsin people. But
they're the best, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever tailgated at a Packers, Brewers, or a Badgers game?
All of the above.
Oh, nice. The trifecta. It's funny. A lot of guests haven't hit all three. I've been lucky enough. Even my co-host has not been lucky enough to hit all three. I don't think he's been to a Badger game yet, so.
Yeah, my mom went to Madison, so as kids we would go all the time. And then when I got older, I definitely, partied beforehand. And then Packers, for sure. I used to go to opening day pretty often, which is kind of out of control at other parks. So, as I get older, I don't know if I can do opening day anymore. I really like to watch the game, so it's crazy. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to do all three.
Awesome. Have you ever wore a cheese hat?
Oh, yep, I have. Yes.
Yeah, that's another one where you actually don't get a lot of people that wear them. I don't have one, but I've definitely worn a friend's.
Yeah, I used to have one. God, who knows where it went? Obviously, I was probably at a game and lost it. But I think I haven't worn it to a Packers game, funny enough. I think I was wearing it at Brewers game. But, oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right, here's a Wisconsin one. Have you ever hit a deer?
I have come very, very close. We were driving up to Green Bay. I forget what that freeway is going up to Green Bay, 45 or something. We were right up at Oshkosh, and it came real close. I screamed very loud and slammed on the brakes. Thank God it didn't hit me, but I'm amazed, knock on wood, right now because I've done a lot of driving from Milwaukee to Menominee too, which is 4 hours. So I'm lucky to not have ever hit one.
Yeah, I've only hit one a couple in my life, but it's like that oh shit handle you never use. You actually end up using them when you see a deer on the road here.
This time of year too.
Yeah, exactly.
This time of year is you want to do daytime driving as much as you can. Yeah.
All right. Have you ever milked a cow, and have you done one by hand?
I have not. No.
No. Okay. That's not an uncommon one actually. I grew up on a dairy farm, so we're pretty Wisconsin. So I always ask the question just to see. Have you ever?
No. I think I've been to some fairs, some state fairs, where they show it and do the display and stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty much a way when you're in trouble, you had to go out there and milk a cow kind of thing when I was a kid. So not a lot of people have been through that though.
That's hilarious.
Have you ever had a true muddled old fashioned?
Yeah, and I like to go to many, many different supper clubs and try their old fashions and see how well they do it. And there's some pretty good supper clubs around the area up here. So there's, they know what they're doing up here for sure. It's something I try to do as my last cocktail if I'm at a place. But that's always a fun time. Is old fashioned on Friday with the fish fry for sure.
Yeah, oh for sure. And talking about that, based on your talk about the supper clubs, do you have a favorite? Yeah,
so up here, north of town a little bit, about less than 10 miles, there's Jake's Supper Club, and we're lucky enough to have a lot of outdoor seating. So they've been actually having some bands. They have a tiki bar thing going outside with the big stage. So we've been kind of lucky enough to be able to get away with some fun times up there. But that it has that supper club feel. They do their old fashioned as well, and then I think they have the prime rib on Saturday. They have the classic daily specials and stuff like that too. So that would be my suggestion up here. Be Jake's Supper Club for sure.
Awesome, sounds good. Yeah, I've not been to that one. We have it on our little map that we have of the supper clubs, and that's one that we've always wanted to do when we're on our way up north.
Nice. Yeah. It's a good one.
All right, and then I got a question. So for beer brats, obviously you've probably made a few in your life. Do you have like a Zymurgy beer you recommend using to try?
Yeah. And so, I mean, the ultimate debate is boiled and grill or grilled and boil. That's a big one.
Yeah.
But like, are you talking about to cook with or to
Yes.
drink beside?
So for me, it's always the grill then to boil to keep the beer flavor in there. But if there's like a Zymurgy beer, do you have one you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I actually like to keep it on the lighter side, especially if you get a bunch of onions and garlic in there. So right now, I would probably say probably do the Pilsner. Sometimes when you have like a brown ale or something that's just too much, then it's a little odd to me. So I usually like a Pilsner with the really thick cut onions on there, and then a little garlic is usually, that would be my suggestion, the Zeitgeist Pilsner.
Awesome. That sounds good. Yeah, I know. I always hate using a craft beer on brats, but it's kind of been one of the things now just to kind of try and experiment with flavor. So I'm pretty excited to try that one.
Nice. Yeah.
And then, okay, so I got two more questions for you. So a Bloody Mary, how do you make yours? Do you use a mixer or do you kind of make it from scratch?
I used to make it from scratch all the time, so I would get the canned tomato juice. I forget the company, and then I would add the spices to it. But lately, I've been kind of enjoying trying a bunch of the different mixes. But some of them are super thick. I like trying them, but obviously, add more vodka, make it less thick. And then I'm a big fan of. There's always going to be extra Worcestershire. That's when you have to stop before you say Worcestershire sauce. I like it heavy on that for sure. And then I'm pretty much a medium spice person. I don't like it too on fire, but I'm usually going to add a couple dollops of extra hot sauce for sure. So kind of a combination.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I kind of like to taper it off a little bit because you just get too much acidity just from the tomato. So you add you add a little bit of spice, but not enough where you're not feeling so good after. But
yeah, and then if you can get, for me personally, if you can get a stout as your side beer, like an oatmeal stout, just a little splash of that on top, and it's perfect.
Oh, for sure. All right, so I got one more question for you. Besides Zymurgy, is there another brewery tour, even in the area, that you would recommend somebody checking out, or even just a brew pub?
Sure, yeah. And from listening to your episode before, shout out to Lakefront, because that is kind of one of the most fun tours ever. I remember doing a tour a long time ago there, and the tour guide literally did cartwheels while we were on the tour. So that always seems to be the most memorable. Right now up here, there's not a lot of breweries in the Chippewa Valley even doing tours. None that I could think of. I would say Leinenkugel's, because they're only 25 minutes from us in Chippewa Falls. I think they have an outdoor tour right now, so you can't go in the building. But again, not that I drink Leine's products very often, but I would almost want to shout out to, at least tour-wise and history-wise, the whole Leinenkugel's facility is kind of cool to check out at least once in your life. Other than that, I have to probably shout out to my other local Menominee brewery at Nonick. It's an old train depot from the early 1900s, and they're on the historic registry. When they rebuilt it, they did everything to code to stay at the registry, and they even have an ordering window, so you don't even have to go inside. You can get a beer through their window. And if you like English beers as well, and also beers off the hand pump, he always has that rockin', and he's dog friendly as well. We're dog friendly too, but so I'd shout out to my neighbor in town here for sure. And then I guess side note, Eau Claire area, if you're in Altoona, would be probably would come brewing beers down there too.
Awesome. Yeah, it's cool. I love seeing those old train depots. One of the other ones I really love going to is Thirsty Peg, and they bought the old Sioux Line depot. And one of my grandparents used to work on the Sioux Line, so it's always kind of cool visiting that. But yeah, I have to check that out.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Thirsty Peg is a brewery I have not gotten to yet, so that's cool.
It's a way up north beer, but it's right on the border of Minnesota there, right on the tip. So.
Oh, perfect. that's not too far from me.
Yeah, not too bad for your neck of the woods, but yeah, it's for us. It's quite a haul, but yeah, thank you, John. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to coming back up there, and I'm sure my co-host and me will be up there soon, and hopefully we can talk more beer.
Yeah, let us know, and we'll accommodate for sure. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, and we'll bring some craft brew along.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
very much.
Yep, thank you, John. All right, bye.
Cheers.
All right, that concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, we recommend you subscribe via SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Also, leave us a review on any one of those above-mentioned sites, and we can read one at the end of every show. Follow us on social media, and feel free to reach out, especially if there is a piece of history or weird news you'd love us to share or research, as well as highlight some local artists or music. Our website is projectcapestudio.com.
I'd also like to thank my friend and past co-worker, Steph Skiback, for providing us with awesome podcast cover art, as well as the Dangits for intro and outro music, and all of you for listening. As always,
Watch out for deer on the way home.